Hey everyone, thanks for watching Main Street USA Studios. Today's video is for folks traveling to the Disneyland Resort in California. If it's your first trip to Disney, or even if you go once a year, we've got you covered in this video with key things you want to know before your trip. First off, there's a lot to book. And we aren't talking about hotels. Of course, you'll need to book those too. Here are some of the reservations you'll want to consider. If it's been a while, you may not know you need a reservation to go to either of the two parks, Disneyland or Disney's California Adventure, DCA. Buying a ticket does not guarantee entry to a park, and reservations do sell out. So you'll want to be sure to make your park reservations as soon as possible. There are separate reservation calendars for single-day ticket holders and Magic Key Pass holders. You can check the calendars before buying your tickets to be sure your travel dates have park availability. While we are mentioning park reservations, let's talk Genie Plus. If you haven't heard of Genie Plus, it replaced the Fast Pass system at Disneyland. Basically, it's an app that lets you book rides at a certain time window in the day. And when you arrive to your return window, you wait in a significantly shorter queue than people who don't use Genie Plus and have to stand in the regular standby line. Along with your park ticket and reservation, you may also want to buy Genie Plus ahead of time. Although you can buy Genie Plus once you get to the park, it is technically limited availability, meaning it could sell out when you're there. Genie Plus service is available for purchase before your visit as an add-on with new ticket or vacation package purchases. We do recommend buying it ahead of time. It starts at $25 per person per day. But if you have a limited number of days, or you're traveling on any school holiday, lines can get seriously long and it might be worth the extra cost. Continuing the theme of planning ahead, we have to mention dining reservations. If you haven't been to Disneyland, you might not realize that a theme park would require dining reservations. But reservations are highly recommended, especially if there is a specific dining location that is on your must list. Reservations open 60 days in advance and they can fill up fast for popular spots. This is especially true for specialty experiences like dining packages for special themed events, firework dining packages, and character dining restaurants. So if you want to experience Disney Princess Breakfast adventures and meet all the princesses, book ahead. Keep in mind that reservations do require a credit card to make, and you need to cancel at least 2 hours ahead of time in most cases to avoid a no-show charge. Don't worry if you haven't made any dining reservations. There are lots of quick-serve options that don't require reservations at all. And some restaurants will take standby guests without reservations, depending on how busy they are, but the long wait times can take up precious vacation hours. One last reservation tip: if you are staying at one of the 3 Disneyland Resort on-property hotels and plan to use the pools, they get very busy when the weather is warm. We have struggled to find lounge chairs at the Grand Californian Hotel pool many times. So if you plan to have a pool day and wish to book a pool cabana, those also book up fast. Like with dining, you can book these 60 days in advance. And in the warm season when you'd likely want to use the pool, they book very quickly. Next up, there is a lot to do and see at the Disneyland Resort. Depending on your trip length, you may not be able to see and do everything at the Disneyland Resort. Even with only 2 parks compared to 4 at Walt Disney World, there is still much to cover. Many lines are over an hour, and that eats away at your precious vacation hours. We recommend making a list of your must-dos and planning around those. For example, if you really want to ride Space Mountain and are staying at a Disneyland Resort hotel, you can use early entry, which lets you in the park half an hour earlier than opening time. Hop on Space Mountain during this early entry and the line will be significantly shorter. You can also save time in line by purchasing Genie Plus to enjoy shorter times in line, or purchase individual lightning lanes to skip the line on the most popular attractions in either park. Research the park hours before you go. If DCA closes early one day, use that time to catch the fireworks over in Disneyland. If you're an early riser, make sure to start your day at rope drop to maximize your time in the park. Or if you prefer to sleep in, stay until closing, which is often midnight during peak seasons at Disneyland, and fit in your favorite rides up until close. A fun fact, typically, if you're in line for a ride before park closing, cast members let you ride even when that means you'll be riding after park close time. But plan on hitting your must-do items and realize you may not get to see and do it all at the Disneyland Resort in one trip. Stay on property. We recommend staying at one of the 3 on-property hotels. These hotels will be more expensive than off-property options, but if your budget has room for it, we do think it's worth the extra money, especially if you don't go to Disneyland often or you don't have a lot of total days at Disneyland in your trip. We do have review videos for the on-property hotels that go into detail on each, but a few highlights here. Staying on property saves time, especially if you stay at Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa. This hotel has its own park entrance to DCA. The newly refreshed Pixar Place Hotel also has its own park entrance to DCA, but it does require walking away from the hotel and across a busy street to access. And for all 3 hotels, the walk to the Disneyland Park main gate is fairly short and very Disney themed. This time savings has huge value when you consider your vacation hours are limited. It can be double time saving too if you plan to break up your day and head back to your hotel for a break or pool time. Plus, with early entry days, you get an extra 30 minutes in the parks before the regular opening time. Outside of time savings, on-property hotels can also get you a great firework view, depending on your room or if you have club-level access. Plus, there's something special about on-property hotels continuing the Disney-themed magic even outside the parks. You can make your Disney trip healthy if you want. So, we have another video coming out on how to be healthy in Disneyland, but we'll mention a few things here. Okay, so on vacation, you want to have fun and not worry about eating super healthy and getting to the gym. It's about relaxing and having fun. But if you want to make a few healthy choices, it does tend to make you feel better and ready to walk miles and miles each day. Disney actually helps out by having healthy options like salads, fresh fruit, and power packs for the kiddos, even at the quick-serve spots. It's not just fries and burgers on the menus. Plus, Disney has a ton of allergy-friendly menu items for gluten allergies, peanut tree nut allergies, soy allergies, and many other food allergies. And Disney also lets you bring your own food to the park, so you can bring a healthy snack option too. Also, if you love getting steps in, you can really get in a lot of steps at the Disneyland Resort, especially if you park hop, walk back to your hotel, and even take an extra lap around the park at night, see what everything looks like lit up after dark. So this may seem obvious, but remember that it gets hot at the Disneyland Resort during summer, but those spring and fall months can also bring the heat in Southern California. And you'll be outside a lot walking, in outdoor lines, and a lot of seating for dining is outdoors. We recommend bringing water, but also note that any Disney food service area will give you water for free in a cup. Sunscreen is essential too, and Disney does sell sunscreen at several places if you forget yours. We also recommend UPF-rated clothing. At least then part of you and the kiddos doesn't need as much sunscreen where the UPF clothing covers. Many ride lines are in direct sunlight for all or part of the queue. We recommend switching it up. If you wait in a super long, mostly direct sun line, then switch it up and head to a more indoor line or shop next. The heat can really zap your energy if you don't take breaks. And speaking of breaks, Disney has great air conditioning where you can find it. Stop into the Opera House or any large shop or a long air-conditioned ride, or looking at you, Small World, for a nice air conditioning break. And if you happen to be at the Disneyland Resort when it's warm, plan to take a pool day. The kids can get super exhausted from walking all day, even when they're having so much fun. Factor a day into your trip that you can spend all or most of at the pool. Especially if you're staying on property, all the Disney hotels are super fun for kids, relaxing for adults, and they all have water slides. And our last tip for preparing for your Disneyland trip is to check out Disneyland's daily events schedule site. You can change the date to look ahead and see what is happening during your trip, including park hours, events, parades, and fireworks shows. Sometimes things can surprise you, like if there is a ticketed after-hours event and the park will be closing earlier than normal. Also, this is where you can check the closed for refurbishment lists for either park. Of course, rides can close sporadically, but this will let you know which attractions and restaurants will definitely be closed during your stay. And if you like to plan, you can remove these closed attractions from your checklist. Of course, the best tip for a Disneyland vacation is to be flexible. You can't plan for every scenario with varying wait times and rides being down at random. If you go with a mindset to be flexible, you're sure to have the best trip. What tips can you share about planning a trip to Disneyland? Let us know in the comments below, and if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe.